Alright baby, welcome to a new series that I'm calling A Wheelie Good History. Get it? Cause like, wheelie and really? You know? No? Okay. Do you want a weirdly shaped but beautiful looking car that makes glorious sounds, is front wheel drive, and has active aero? Well shoot, I got the car for you! The first car that we're gonna cover is the Volkswagen Corrado. Now, the Volkswagen Corrado has always enamored me due to its oddly shaped design and a VR6 engine and being front wheel drive and having active aero. All very strange things, but I still love it. And I know a lot of other people do too. So, without further introduction, here is a really good history on a Volkswagen Corrado. A really good history. So in 1989, the Corrado was first introduced to European and Canadian markets. The Corrado stood out during this time due to its chunky, pug-nosed design, identifying as a true Volkswagen. Most cars of this time were going for that sleek, aerodynamic kind of body lines, but the Corrado said, screw that, and went with a more unique looking style. It looks odd, but cool. The very first Corrados were labeled as a G60. The G60 engine was a 1.8 liter supercharged inline-4 engine, pushing out a whopping 158 horsepower and 166 pound-feet of torque. And this is a little bit different, again, during this time. Because during the 90s, most cars were fitted with a turbocharger, but Volkswagen opted to go with a supercharger. Volkswagen being Volkswagen, they wanted to be unique. They had hoped that being unique in the automotive marketplace during the 90s would bring success to them, as the Beetle did that for them in the 60s and 70s. You want to know what else the Corrado had? An active, aerodynamic, rear spoiler, which automatically raised at 45 miles per hour. How freaking sick is that? A Volkswagen with active aero. The Corrado gets labeled as one of the first production cars to ever have active aero. Now, in 1990, the Corrado was introduced into the US markets. Bill Young, then Vice President of Volkswagen of America, said, "The new Corrado will change the way you think about Volkswagen. We abandoned traditional sports car thinking when we created the Corrado. Never before has so much performance, comfort, and luxury been combined in such a compact, agile 2+2 sports car." In advertisements, Volkswagen claimed that Corrado was a car of innovation, producing more power at lower engine RPMs without the lag of turbocharging. Low drag coefficient of 0.32. Rear spoiler automatically raises at 45 miles per hour to reduce rear end lift by as much as 45%. A feature once only available in vehicles like a Ferrari or a Formula race car. And with all that being said, the Corrado came at a whopping price of $17,900, which is roughly equal to $40,000 in today money. Now that we know the Corrado as a cult classic, during the 90s, feelings were a little bit mixed about it. There was some positive notes about the early Corrados. It's one of the very few front-wheel driven cars that don't try to snatch the steering out of your hands. Now, many people noted that the G60 heart of the Corrado was severely underpowered, making the vehicle quite sluggish. And it really hurt the Corrado, making it underperform compared to what consumers were expecting when they saw this flashy sports car being released by Volkswagen. Corrado owners love the exclusivity of the design of the vehicle, but the performance was underwhelming. Now, the factory claimed a 0-60 time of 7.5 seconds. Many media reviewers were unable to replicate this, and the best that they ever got was 8.2 seconds 0-60. Still, not bad for the 90s, but Volkswagen was eager to erase the G60 from the consumer's memories. Volkswagen focused its sale pitch on the newly designed, beautiful engine, the VR6. That's right, these crazy Germans stuffed the VR6 inside of a Corrado, and it performed better than the G60, pushing out 178 neck-breaking horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque, baby. And it even won the Popular Science's Best Car of 1992, which was a big deal. Now released with its new heart, the VR6, it received some new badging as well. The Corrado was badged as an SLC, or Sports Luxury Coupe. The Corrado, thankfully, was able to grasp the heart of the American consumers, especially for those people who wanted a unique, sporty, front-wheel driven, sports car. And thankfully, the VR6 and the SLC badging was able to erase that sour taste left in consumers' mouth by the earlier sluggish G60. From another Car and Driver article in 1992, the SLC now threatens to trounce the class. Look at its basic performance. 0 to 60 in 6.4 seconds, the quarter mile in 15 seconds at 94 miles an hour, and a top speed of 141 miles per hour. In short, this Corrado's talent for speed makes it Germany's Speedenheimer for pocket GTs. Everything was amazing. The Corrado was living its best life. Sales were doing well comparatively to earlier. Consumers and enthusiasts alike were loving the Corrado. But on the 8th day, God said, "Let there be Corrado." And on the 9th day, he said, "Okay, no more Corrado. We're done with it." In 1994, production ceased in the US market, and the light dwindled from my heart. According to some guy on VW Vortex, who had spoken with some sort of representative at Volkswagen America, claimed that the reason why they stopped producing the Corrado is, in quote, the following model year, Volkswagen was planning to put the VR6 in the Mark III Golf. They canceled the Corrado because then the cars would be competing against one another. Strangely enough, the Corrado didn't really sell that well, both in the US and worldwide. Theories as to why it didn't sell that well are all across the board. Lack of aggressive marketing and advertising, the poor and/or changing economy during the early 90s, Volkswagen's poor reliability image of the time. But despite the lack of enthusiastic sales, the Corrado still holds a piece of history as being the quickest and fastest Volkswagen of its time. And certainly, it can be argued that the Corrado is one of the best produced Volkswagens of all time. Two things are for sure today. The VR6 engine rules, it's freaking sick, and it's dearly missed. And thankfully, it's wonderful that there's still such a dedicated community to keeping these cars alive. If you're one of the Corrado owners out there, keeping your Corrado running nicely, looking beautiful, I salute you. You're fighting the good fight. Now tell me, what do you think of the Volkswagen Corrado? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it ugly? And also, tell me what car you want me to cover next. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'm also building a Mark II 07K. It's pretty sick. Mark II with 5 cylinders, that's pretty dope. And have a wonderful day. Peace.